Ooh, yeah, dig it. Macho Man Randy Savage right here. Sorry, y'all. Yeah. Hey, Wrestling World. Alan Cotton, your boy, here for the Final Verdict Wrestling Review. I'm giving you guys my very first DVD review. Of course, I tried to do it at the beginning. It didn't work. Sorry. But this is the review of a man who is, without a doubt, a legend in this business. A lot of people that's wrestles right now imitates this man, not flawlessly, but you can see a lot of the mannerisms of this man. You can see a lot of the movesets of this man. You can see a lot of the characteristics in the interviews from this man, the intensity of this man, the athleticism of this man. This man needs no introduction. This man is probably only second to Ric Flair to being one of the most flamboyant wrestlers that has ever lived. This man truly stood out from the pack in the 1980s and the 1990s. Even some might say he was in the shadow of Hulk Hogan, but at the same time, his wrestling skills surpassed Hulk Hogan. Yes, very historic statement I'm saying, but Macho Madness was almost up there with Hulkamania. But when it came to bell getting it done in the ring, Hulkamania had to take a step back, baby. Not even going to lie to you, not going to jack to you. The man I'm talking about is, of course, the Macho Man, Randy Savage. As many of you know, the wrestling world took a great loss when Macho Man left this earth on May 20th, 2011 due to a heart attack. I was truly sad when I heard this news. It was an absolute shock. But I'm also thankful that, he's one of the very few wrestlers that didn't die of suicide or steroids or drugs or alcohol. That's always been the stigma with a lot of wrestlers, that they're always dying so tragically of these cases. The Macho Man simply died of a heart attack. He was 58 years old. Let's say he was getting his life together. He remarried for a year after being with Elizabeth, being divorced from Elizabeth around 1992. As a matter of fact, things were going so good, he even reconciled with Hulk Hogan about a year ago or so as well. Hulk Hogan did admit that in an interview. Macho Man Randy Savage will truly be missed, and I am reviewing right now the Macho Man 3-disc DVD set, The Ultimate Collection, that came out around 2 years ago, 2009, featuring some of the best moments Randy Savage ever had. But when you have Randy Savage, every moment is the best moment. The man stole the show almost flawlessly without putting in very much effort. I'm sorry, I'm stumbling over my words. I'm working without a net. I can go on and on about how I feel about Randy Savage. Randy Savage is one of my personal favorite wrestlers. I've been watching wrestling since the 80s. I wasn't sure how big Randy Savage was until I gotten older. And, when you get older, you start looking at old footage from when you was a kid for that nostalgia feel. And I've come to love Randy Savage as a wrestler, as a superstar. He always stood out. He had very good promos, very flamboyant costumes, and of course he had the lovely Elizabeth, who everybody had a crush on when they was a kid. I mean, who didn't love Elizabeth? She was just like the definition of damsel in distress. Very classy woman. You almost like, how did Randy get somebody like that? He played the jealous boyfriend up to a T. Nobody could touch Elizabeth. Nobody could look at Elizabeth. Nobody talks to Elizabeth. He constantly put Jean in check every time he tried to interview her. One interview when Gene asked Randy, is it okay if I ask Elizabeth the question? Like, sure, go ahead. You wouldn't give her that flower, would you? Oh, this interview is over. It was just a fantastic time. It was just great seeing Randy Savage. It was just something about Randy Savage. He had that mystique. He had that aura. He had that big match feel. And this DVD set captures a lot of those moments. This is a great DVD set. One of the better ones that WWE has put out in recent memory, because I'll admit, I'm a WWE fan to the heart, but their DVD releases aren't what they used to be. Some of them are very politically charged, such as the top 50 superstars of all time. They had politics written all over it. A lot of them don't even come with documentaries anymore. And that is the flaw with this DVD set. Randy Savage is no longer with us, unfortunately. Randy Savage has not had a shoot interview in almost 10 years. The only shoot interview you can find of Randy Savage took place in 2000 when he's fresh from leaving WCW. So you're not going to get his opinion on a lot of current things that's going on right now. We're not going to see how Randy Savage feels about a guy like John Cena or Randy Orton or Wade Barrett, or how he feels about Vince McMahon or Steve Austin, anybody, because he's not here anymore. Nobody can interview Randy Savage. This DVD set, the release of it was the perfect time to sit Randy down to get his opinion on how things went. Nobody would ever answer the question of why exactly he left the WWE. There's got to be more to it than the fact that he didn't care to be an announcer anymore in 1994. On top of that, Vince McMahon went years and years and years without ever mentioning his name on TV again. Eventually, he started mentioning Hogan again. But he never mentioned Savage. There's got to be something there that we need to know, but we're never going to find out because Randy Savage is no longer here, and Vince McMahon no longer cares to talk. What Vince McMahon needs to do, and I feel very strongly about this man needs to be inducted in the 2012 WWE Hall of Fame. No ifs, ands, or buts. Him and Elizabeth should be inducted. This man should have been inducted 10 years ago if you really want to know the truth. But it's not up to me. I'm just a wrestling fan. What do I know? But getting back to this DVD set, this is an excellent DVD set. If you love seeing wrestling in the 80s and you love seeing technical, hard-hitting wrestling in the 80s, this man is one of the original high flyers of the WWE. Him and Superfly Jimmy Snuka. But I think the Macho Man did it a little bit better. You got the match, the WrestleMania 5 main event with Hogan. The WrestleMania 4 victory over Ted DiBiase. Of course, his Intercontinental title victory over Tito Santana. They even have his WrestleMania 6 mixed tag match with Dusty Rhodes and Sapphire. They even got the best Ultimate Warrior match you will ever see. This man at WrestleMania 7 put his career on the line against the Ultimate Warrior. This man did 6 flying elbow drops, and Ultimate Warrior no-sold it. If you would have saw the expression on Randy Savage's face when he did that, he literally shit himself. Yes, I did say shit. Now, this DVD set is almost flawless, except for one thing, 2 things. They don't have a documentary, nothing but pure matches hosted by Matt Striker and Maria. I don't know why. And also, a lot of his Memphis footage none of his Memphis footage is on here. Why is it not on here? Jerry the King Lawler had a feud with this man in Memphis in the early 80s. Why is that footage not included on here is beyond me. You will not see any of his ICW footage because you can barely find it anywhere. I don't think his brother, Leapin' Lanny Poffo, has this footage. A lot of the old Macho Man footage is missing. If you can see the roots of where he became the true essence of the Macho Man Randy Savage, ICW and his Memphis days, you can see that he probably brought about 80% of that to WWE. 80%. He was much more intense before he got to WWE. Look on YouTube for his feud with Dutch Mantel and see how intense that feud was. Those guys were feuding over a cowboy hat, but it was damn near a blood feud. That's how good Macho Man was. He made something out of nothing. My personal favorite Macho Man match is when he went against Ric Flair at WrestleMania 8 at the Hoosier Dome. Excellent match. Those two were made to feud with each other. Absolutely made to feud with each other. You got the pretty boy. He's going around saying, Elizabeth was mine before she was yours. And, of course, Macho Man is just ready to just fly off the deep end off the smallest thing. He's like, it's not your woman, man. And it made for an absolutely dramatic, emotional match. Very great match. That match is the match that stole the show, even though it didn't headline the show. The god-awful Psycho Sid Hulk Hogan match did, but I'm not going to get into that, dude. Hulk Hogan, whatever. This is a DVD you need to pick up. The final verdict for the 3-disc Randy Savage DVD set is a 9. Damn near flawless, people. Great matches from a great wrestler. Great interview segments are on here. You got some of the greatest moments, one of the greatest superstars that ever lived, one of the greatest superstars to ever work for Vince McMahon in the history of this business. Please give this a look. If you haven't seen it, you can find it on Amazon. It's been released for 2 years. I encourage all of you to see this, get a piece of wrestling history. Randy Savage is no longer with us. We will never ever see Randy Savage step on the stage to accept in the Hall of Fame induction, which is just downright sad. And, you know, it's just heartbreaking. But if you want to relive those good moments of Randy Savage, I encourage all of you to get this. So the final verdict for this DVD set is a 9. And with that said, I am Alan Cotton. This is the Final Verdict Wrestling Review, my very first DVD review of the 3-disc DVD set of Macho Man. And with that said, God bless all of you. All take care of yourselves.